Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of the Non-Cooperators. We're back playing some more Outbreak. Wait, no, Dead Frontier Outbreak 2. That's jeez, what have been? I don't even remember what I've been calling it. So where we left off, we're in town right now. We got to a chemist lab, and there was a body on the floor, and we didn't know if it was alive or dead. But we just made sure that it was fully dead by smashing it in the head with a crowbar. So let us proceed.
As I walked into the back room, my heart sank. The front of the shop had been left untouched. Looters had clearly broken in at the back and taken all the medicine.
Fuck.
Most likely, drug addicts in search of a fix. I searched everywhere, but the only thing left was a few tubes of hemorrhoid cream.
Ah, well, it's better than nothing.
In front of the shop and realized that my mission was far from over. I wondered if I could find any extra supplies before continuing.
Take the cash on the register. It's useless. Search for first aid. Search for ammo. Just leave. I think there was a first aid.
I realized that a place like this probably sold some basic first aid kits and equipment. It didn't take long to find what I was after.
Okay, good.
I put it in my backpack and then headed back outside.
Yeah. So this place wasn't a full bust, but what are you gonna do? But yeah, that's gonna be like, if the zombie apocalypse actually really did happen, that's gonna be the death of us. Us going into like a pharmacy and finding out all that shit is gone. From whom? Fucking drug addicts. That's gonna be the death of us. Drug addicts. Like, I hope you fucking die, you bastards!
It was the only other place in town that I knew.
A local mall. Cause that's not cliche in any zombie movie.
I didn't know where they were, and didn't want to risk getting eaten alive while looking for something that might not exist.
That's actually not true.
As the mall finally came into view, I felt a strange mix of relief and horror. I was now close to my goal, but it seemed that the last few hundred yards would pose an almost insurmountable problem. The plaza in front of the building was infested with zombies, idly wandering in circles and occasionally bumping into each other. As I wondered what to do next, the wind suddenly changed direction, carrying my scent toward the pack of infected.
Great.
In near perfect unison, the infected sniffed the air and turned to stare directly at me. A split second later, they charged.
So these are fast zombies, so this is not cool. Okay, so as I was saying, yeah, it's not necessarily cliche about the zombies being in a mall, but yeah, that's you know, like not every single zombie movie or game or whatever like that. I mean, that's just that's Dead Rising franchise, and the Dawn of the Dead franchise. But like I said, I wanted to do a movie like this where, of course, zombies would be in the mall and stuff like that, which would actually be kind of cool. And I had this really cool, awesome scene that I wanted to do, like an aerial scene, where, yeah, whatever. Okay, so where are we? The zombies are charging at us. So try to hide an abandoned car. Not gonna work. Run past them into the mall. Not gonna work. We're not gonna run past them. We're gonna just run into them. Run around the block, then try to find another entrance. Open fire and wipe the bastards out. There's too many of them. We don't have enough ammunition, and they're gonna kill us all. So run around the block and try to find another way into the entrance.
I knew I didn't stand a chance against the oncoming mob of post-human cannibals.
Post-human.
So I turned on my heels and fled as quickly as I could.
And turned on my heels.
The infected were surprisingly fast on their feet.
Damn it.
But luckily, they struggled to avoid the mass of abandoned vehicles and debris that covered the road.
Alright, so I'm doing my parkour shit. Hey, Vector.
Running around the block, and those that still followed were quite a distance behind me.
Yay.
As I returned to the plaza, I realized that not many of the zombies had chased me as I had originally thought. Unable to reach the main entrance, and with the infected now approaching from all sides, I had no choice but to run down a small side alley. There was still a single doorway into the mall, and luckily, it was still unlocked.
Okay, cool.
I slammed the door shut behind me. It seemed reasonably strong, and was small enough to prevent large numbers of infected from pushing against it all at once. Still, leaving it as it was definitely posed a risk.
Alright, so I have to lock the door with the bolt, try to find something to barricade it with, lock the door first, then barricade it. Leave it unlocked as an emergency escape route. I think lock the door first and then barricade it. I think.
I closed the bolts on the door and then quickly looked around for something to barricade it. Luckily, there was some old tables and chairs nearby.
Oh, okay, good.
I was easily able to wedge in front of the entrance. No one would be getting in or out this way anytime soon.
Alright, well, unfortunately, we just, like, closed off our exit, but still, even if that was an exit, we don't want that to be an exit because when we open that door, fucking nothing but zombies.
Now that I was reasonably sure that the infected wouldn't be getting into the building the same way I did, my attention turned to my new surroundings. I was in a long
Safety,
hall
please.
with several storage rooms on either side. From the vague odor of damp and chemicals, I realized this was obviously some kind of basement used primarily by the cleaning staff. I could see a stairwell leading up to the main building at the end of the hall.
Okay, so I'm not gonna call out to any survivors. Ensure the area is secure. Head straight for the stairs. Search for supplies. Ensure the area is secure.
I carefully explored the various side rooms, making sure that none of the infected had made a home here. Fortunately, this part of the building was empty, but I soon realized that some of the rooms posed a serious problem for security.
Yeah.
Several of the windows had been smashed in the chaos following the outbreak.
So the zombies can actually get through.
Time or resources to block up every one. I instead closed all the interior doors and wedged chairs under the handles.
Huh. I just wedged chairs under the handles. Honestly, that actually is that'll come in handy later.
I climbed the flight of
And
stairs
here we
to the
are.
floor, and then headed through a small doorway into the
And there,
building.
I'm over there. I'm pointing at
The
it.
hall was eerily quiet, and despite my best efforts to keep
I'm
it
over
low
here.
profile, every footstep seemed to echo
They're over
throughout
there.
the entire building. The
Up
shutters
there.
on most stores had been closed,
Eh.
presumably in an attempt to keep the infected from roaming freely.
Ugh.
Frequent bloodstains were an ever-present reminder of how little the shopkeepers had achieved. A sickening feeling in my gut told me this place had been the scene of a terrible massacre.
Yeah.
As I slowly made my way to the central square, I recalled that the pharmacy was up on the second floor. I could see no signs of life, human or otherwise, and so decided to ascend the nearest escalator and secure the medicine the folks back at the farm so desperately needed. Before I could reach it, the silence was broken by a tremendous bang, swiftly
Yeah.
followed by something whizzing an inch past my head. Someone had taken a shot at me.
Unfortunately they got the drop on me, so I have to try to talk to them. If I try to take cover, they're gonna try to shoot back. If I shoot back, they're gonna shoot back. If I run, they're gonna shoot at me. So
I called out, hoping to reason with whoever was shooting at me. But before I could finish the sentence, several more rounds had been fired, and two of them hit me in the head.
oh
I
well,
was dead before my body hit the ground.
what the fuck? Try that again then.
Climbed the flight.
I guess okay. So to take cover then.
I imme-
Oh shit! I immediately dove for the nearest pillar. It's like as several more bullets were fired. Amazingly, I wasn't hit. Seriously, what
pillar
dicks?
offered temporary respite
Oh, so
from
it's
my
this.
assailant,
I'm okay.
But it would only be a
That's
matter
the
of
pillar
time before they
I'm safe
outflanked
at.
me. I couldn't see them, but I could hear them maneuvering on the floor above. I had to act fast if I was to have any chance of survival.
Try to negotiate. Okay, now I gotta try to negotiate.
I realized that they had me totally pinned down, and that my chances of surviving a firefight were slim. My only hope was to try and convince them to let me live. I cried, "I'm not infected," as loud as I could. There was a pause,
Huh.
followed by a voice full of fear and doubt. "Prove it." He ordered me to put my gun on the ground and step slowly out from behind the pillar with my hands up. I could see no alternative, and so I reluctantly did what I was told. As I stood defenseless in the open, I explained that I hadn't been bitten, and that I meant them no harm. The survivors whispered among themselves for a moment, before one of them asked me to take off my clothes so they could see for themselves. I undressed, and a man armed with a shotgun came down to inspect me. Finally satisfied that I wasn't about to eat them, the man asked me why I was here.
Well, while I was naked, tell them about your mission. Tell them you're looking for food and ammo. Tell them you're here to say. Well, yeah, I wish. Okay, just tell my mission. You gotta be truthful, unfortunately.
I decided it was best if I told the survivors the truth from the beginning.
Yeah.
I'd probably find out sooner or later anyway. As I put my clothes back on and picked up my equipment, I explained all about the fortified farm, the disease that plagued my family, and my quest for antibiotics.
Yeah.
They seemed impressed by my bravery and allowed me to join them on the second floor.
They're impressed by my bravery. It's like, well, it's like you got some balls. Come on to the second floor. This is where all the cool guys are hanging out.
As I climbed the escalator, I realized just how wise my decision to surrender had been. There were at least 20 survivors in the building, with over half of them armed with shotguns or rifles. The rest had an assortment of vicious-looking melee weapons.
Huh.
As soon as I reached the top, I was directed toward the leader, a tall and muscular African-American who introduced himself as Ox.
Huh. Tall,
Ox
muscular
told me that
African-American.
if I wanted his help and protection, or at least to be allowed to roam his mall freely, I had to earn it. Apparently there was no longer any power in the mall, and he wanted someone to head down to the basement and turn on the generator. The last man he sent never came back.
Huh. Lovely. Agree without question, refuse, ask for extra equipment. I think I can get away with asking extra equipment and saying, like, yeah, sure, I'll do it, but I just need some stuff in order to do it but hang on, let me just see if that works.
I told him I'd be happy to help, but that I desperately needed some more equipment if I was going to survive. He grudgingly agreed and got one of his lackeys to hand over some ammo. I was then informed that I'd be taking a mechanic named Smith along with me.
Okay.
Partly to fix the generator if it.
So I was able to swiggle the deal, basically. Like, sure, I'll do it for that. It's like I didn't try. Okay.
Smith and I went back down the escalator and through the door I had originally come through to the stairwell. We headed back down, and then Smith pointed out another doorway hidden under the stairs that I hadn't noticed before.
A door that I didn't notice before. Okay, so either open it slowly, bust in it, or let Smith take point. I need Smith's help, unfortunately. So without Smith, this actually would not be good. I'll open the door slowly and carefully.
Carefully open the door with my gun at the ready.
Yeah.
Ox obviously thought this place was dangerous, so I kept my guard up. On the other side of the door, it was pitch black.
Ah, great.
If there were any windows, they were small, and the curtains or blinds were closed. We listened carefully for any signs of the infected, but heard nothing.
Light a match, go back and find a torch. Open the light a match.
We weren't about to proceed without a light source, but luckily Smith had a few matches on him. We lit one and slowly made our way into the room. The match didn't offer much illumination, but it was enough to make our way to the generator without making any undue noise.
If I undo the blinds, I think the zombies will see us on the outside, and I don't think we have time to look for a torch. Not that I'm aware of. We're 12 minutes in. Should we proceed with the actual game itself, or should I finish this? You know what? I'm gonna finish this next time on the non-cooperators. We're gonna find out if me and Smith survive down in the generator room next week. So we'll see you guys next week on the non-cooperators of Dead Frontier Outbreak 2. We'll see you next time.
Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe?